I'm going to put the buttons onto the numeric keypad now. Now the only thing I have to do first is explain this line. Text variable equals string var. Now this is here for a purpose, but I could have worded this a little bit different. Let me do that now. I'm going to take string var, put it up here. I'm going to take a variable t text variable. That's a good one. Equals string var. So string var turns TV into a string variable. Now I'm going to take that TV. I'm going to bind it to text variable. Assign it to it and bind it to it. Whatever happens to this guy is going to now happen to this guy. Alright, well, why am I doing that? Because down here, right after my text box entry, I'm going to key in the following. Take that TV variable. I want you to set it to the value of 0.00. Let's see what happens now when I run this program. First, let me save this. And now let me run this. And, oh, kapow, look, I've got a default value now. So now I can key in what I want, and I'm happy. So again, this is used to set a default value into the text box. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to add on the buttons. So, I come to my buttons section. The buttons section, I have buttons 7, 8, and 9. The text on them will be text equals 7, 8, and 9 for each one of the respective buttons. They will mimic this, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm going to do the top 3 first. System, I want you to go call Mr. Buttons. And Mr. Buttons says, yeah, what do you want me to do? Well, I would like you to put one of your silly selves buttons into the root window. And he says, okay, that's fine. Now, you see the space between the text 7 and the border of this button? Yeah. He says to me, that's called pad X. How many units of space do you want there? I say 5. And he says 5 is good. Okay, we'll do that. What about the border line around this button? How big do you want it to be? I say 8 is fine. Now, he says to me, what about the foreground? What do you want this color to be here? Yellow, green, black, blue? Black is fine, I say. And what about the font? Well, I choose mine to be Arial 18 and bold, so you can see it rather well. The text on it should say, of course, in this case, 7. And then, something very important. Now, a little while ago, let me move this out of the way. Just a little while ago, the last line on this entry box was grid column span equals 3. That means I'm reserving space for 3 columns, where I'm going to put 3 buttons. So I want you to go to that grid, specifically row 1, and go to column 0. This would be row 1, column 0 on our calculator. And I want you to put button 7 there. Row 1, column 0. He says, okay, I'll do that. What about button 8? Well, Mr. Button, put a button into the root. Padding will be 15. Oh, it's bigger than this because I want you to see the difference between these guys. The border will be 8, and the foreground will be black. This is the font, Arial 18 bold, and the text will say 8. And when you go to the grid, put this into row 1, column 1. This was in row 1, column 0. This one is in column 1. Button 9. Mr. Button, yes, put this button into the root. Pad X of 5, border is 8, foreground is black. The font is Arial 18 bold. The text must say 9. And put it into the grid, specifically in row 1, column 2. And he says to me, okay, I'll do that. So let me save this now. And let's run this and see what it looks like. Run module. Oh, there are my buttons. Notice the difference here. This 7, 8, and 9, they don't do anything yet. You can click on them. But notice the space difference between the 7 and this border and the 8 and this border. This is more space here, clearly. All right, let's close that down and go back to our guy and change him from pad X 15 to pad X 5. Like so. File. Save. And let's test it, make certain that nothing's changed. And there we go. There's our guy. Here's our default value. And now we put on buttons 7, 8, and 9. Now, I'm going to do buttons 4, 5, and 6. I say, Mr. Button, could you put this button into the root window, with a padding of 20? Oh, that's going to be bigger now. I'd like you to see it, what happens. And border is 2. That's pretty small now. Foreground will be black. The font will be Arial 20 bold. So we'll see a little bit of a difference there. Text will be 4, because this is button 4. Now at the grid, go to row 2. Not row 1, row 2, column 0. Put button 4 there. Button 5. Mr. Button, put your silly self into the root window. Padding X of 20. Border is 2. Foreground black. Font is Arial 20 bold. Text will say 5. This is button 5. In the grid, put it in row 2, column 1. Button 6. Yes, Mr. Button, put this button 6 into the root window. Pad X with 20. Border is 2. Foreground is black. Font is Arial 20 bold. Text will be 6. And go to the grid and go to row 2, column 2. Put it right there. Okay, that's good. Let's do File Save. And now let's run this guy. And wow, look what we get. Look at the space on the Pad X. Very different. I like these better. You can like these better if you want, but I like these better, so I'm going to change these to these. Alright, let's close this up. Now with buttons 1, 2, and 3, and 0, 1, 2, 3, and 0 here, I'm going to tell Mr. Button on button 1 to put it into the root. Padding will be 5. The border will be 20. Wow, that's a big border. I wonder why I'm doing that. Answer, so you can see what it looks like. It will look very different. Foreground is black. Font is Arial 20 bold. Again, so you can see the difference. I didn't point that out last time. I will this time. And text equals 1, because it's button 1. Go to row 3, column 0 of the grid and put it there. Button 2, tell Mr. Button to put this guy in the root. And the Pad X will be 5, the border 20, foreground black, font Arial 20 bold, text is equal to 2, go to the grid, row 3, column 1, put it there. This one is column 0, this one is column 1, the next one will be column 2. Button 3, put the button into the root window. Pad X of 5, borders 20, pretty big border as you'll see. Foreground's black, font is Arial 20 bold, text is 3, because this is button 3. Go to the grid, row 3, column 2. Button 0. Mr. Button, put this guy into the root. The Pad X will be 5, the border 20, the foreground black, font will be Arial 20 bold, and the text will say 0. Go to the grid, go to row 4, column, not 0, not 2, but 1. That'll put him smack dab in the middle. Wow, let's see how this thing looks now. File, save. Run the module. Wow. Look at that border. That's a hell of a border. I like these better. Oh, this looks pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to change this back now. Now, what the border was 8. So let's do that. We change them all to 8. So we have a standardization. That makes everything look the same, so we don't wind up getting confused. Alright, let's see how it did. File, save, and run module. And there we go. We've now got the basic structure for our calculator. Button 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And how does that look compared to our target calculator over here? Okay, we're getting there. We got all of our numbers here and our zeros. We still need these guys. The slashes, stars, the negative sign, the positive sign, the equal sign. But we're getting there, little by little. This video got way too long, so I'm going to cut it short here and do the rest in the next video or 2 videos. By the way, take a look at the font difference between the top row and the bottom rows. See the 7, 8, 9, that's very different from these guys. This is 18 point and this is 20 point, these guys. I seem to like the 20 point a little bit better. It was larger, easier to see at a glance. So I think I'll stick with the 20. Remember, this is a work in progress. I'm going to pin my code into the comment section. It'll be pinned at the top. So you can make use of it, modify it, and share it. Wish you lots of luck. Bye-bye now.